We are at the Black Business Expo. It's been a few months since we met with Eric Kelly, and we're excited to be here. I am about to go up on stage. This gentleman is about to announce me, and I am about to talk about bridging the generational gaps, again, between millennials and baby boomers.
Again, my name is Bogdan, Padua. I was born and raised right here in Raleigh, North Carolina. I've lived here my entire life. This is my home. This is where I've lived my entire life, and I love the people here and I love the community. I grew up thinking that I was going to go to the NHL and play professional ice hockey. I thought that if I just worked really hard with all the skill that I had, eventually I would go to the NHL. Eventually, I had to come to terms with the fact that I was not going to the NHL. I had to do some course correction. So I said, you know what? I'm going to go to college and get an education, and if I get that education, then I'll be successful. I thought that's the natural course, the 1, 2, 3 step plan that will guarantee my success. So I said, okay, I'm going to go to UNC Chapel Hill, I'm going to get my business degree, and my life is going to be set. Obviously, things didn't pan out exactly the way I thought they would, but I did get that acceptance letter. I got that acceptance letter, and I thought my fate was sealed. I thought it was signed, sealed, and delivered. I was going to be a success. Now, right before what would have been my sophomore year at UNC Chapel Hill, I decided at the very last minute that I was going to take what's called a gap year. Okay? And really, a gap year is just a nice way of telling your parents you're dropping out, right? And the reason for that is because the summer prior, I had had such an amazing experience doing door-to-door sales that my life was changed forever. For the very first time, I stood face to face with my potential, what I was capable of, and I couldn't bear to do anything else. I was doing door-to-door sales, I was challenging myself every day, and I was making a commitment to becoming the best version of myself. So I said, okay, I'm really gonna do this. I left college, I moved out of my parents' house, and I said, I'm gonna dive headfirst into the world of entrepreneurship. So I did just that. I partnered with my best friend, Matthew Hubble. We've been running businesses ever since, ranging from talent management, working with Disney stars, YouTubers, online personalities, to doing sales and sales management for large-scale marketing agencies, along with doing content creation for some of these celebrity CEOs, if you will, or the online personalities, again, helping them improve their branding online. So that's what we've been doing over the last few years. We've learned a lot. We've had some ups and some downs, some failures, but very proudly, I'm able to stand in front of you today and say that we're running a successful business. And what we're running is a company called Signature. Okay? It's spelled with a Y, Sygnatre. And at Signature, what we do is we help individuals, teams, and organizations implement the tools and the strategies that are going to guarantee they dominate online. At the end of the day, and this is what I was talking about earlier, what we're masters at is generating massive and immediate attention online for people, places, and things. And in a day and age where attention is your currency, if you have that integrity inside of you, you have a great product, you have a great service, the only thing that you're missing is attention from others. And we help you get that at Signature. We have a variety of different e-products that we sell. We have services that we implement that will guarantee those results. And we also have a network, a community that is committed to getting you to the next level and growing alongside with you. So before I talk about that, I'm gonna stay on topic, right? I was asked to come here and talk about this gap, this generational gap between millennials and baby boomers. So before I dive into that, I feel like it's only fair that I set some definitions, some terms, so that we're all on the same page, okay? Now, millennial, contrary to popular belief, is not just a young person whom you don't like. There's an actual definition behind it, okay? A millennial is someone, and I've done my research, someone who's born between 1980 and the late 1990s. So me, I'm a perfect example of that. I was born in 1997, and here I am today at 21 years old. I am a millennial. So when we talk about millennials, there's a lot of different words that come up, right? We hear words like lazy, impatient, narcissistic, entitled, thinking that we're gonna walk into your company and take your job in 2 months. Maybe sooner, who knows? That is all too common, and we hear it all the time. When we hear the word millennial, we might think of this little kid storming into your office, swinging open the door, and telling you, man, you need to implement this strategy, and then take that data, A/B test it against this, and then from there, we'll have enough evidence to know whether or not what we're doing is right, and then we'll deploy it against this, and this is why this means a lot to your business. And meanwhile, you're sitting there in your seat, in your office, thinking, who are you and why are you in my office? Like, where do you get this entitled? Like, where does it come from, right? Now, it's really funny when people say, okay, these millennials walking around like they rent the place. Who do they think they are, right? Walking around like they think they rent the place. And I think it's super funny as well when the baby boomers, the generation before mine, say things like, your generation, you guys are always on your phones. You're always on your phones. You can't even write in cursive, right? And meanwhile, I'm left there sitting, okay, do I say it or do I not say it? And then I end up just saying it. I say, all right, Grandma, you can't even open your laptop without downloading 6 viruses and wiring half your bank account to a Nigerian prince who desperately needs the help. So I'm just saying, there's a lot of that coming from people who still need help connecting to Wi-Fi. I'm just saying, I'm just saying. I will stay on course here. The reason I'm talking to you today is because there's a problem, there's an issue. This divide between millennials and baby boomers are causing businesses to fall behind, okay? The reason businesses are falling behind because of this gap is because these two people do not see the world the same way. They do not see the world the same way. And more specifically, they don't see the business world the same way. And I'm not just going to say it, I'm going to prove it right now, okay? I want you, how many business owners do we have in the room? Raise your hand. 1, 2, we have several business owners. Right now, I don't care how small or how big your business is. Right now, I want you to envision the structure of your business. The organizational structure. If you were to visualize it, draw it out, what does that business look like? You have it in your head, what it looks like, you have it mapped out. If I were a betting man, and I were a millennial, I actually had money to bet on stuff, I would say, if I were to reach out and grab what's in your head, I would say that you're probably envisioning something that looks like this. A hierarchical structure by which a CEO, a visionary, a founder, appoints CEOs and VPs who appoint directors and managers who manage people, who manage people, who manage people, who manage people. It's this top-down structure where the top lead down. The reason this is important to note is because millennials don't see the business structure that way. Based on the data, based on what we're seeing, millennials come into the business world, and what we see is an interconnected web of thoughts, ideas, people, and perspectives that have the power to change the world forever. And I'm not exaggerating when I say that. We don't see this. What we see is this, and we love it because it's an even playing field for everyone, no matter what your race is, your background, what you've done or what you haven't done, you have a seat at the table. All right? The reason it's important to note that is that the business owner who's going to succeed in this next decade is no longer a business owner who sits on top of the organization, but one who sits in the middle. No longer at the top, in the middle. One who has direct and easy access to the people, perspectives, tools, and softwares and strategies that can be implemented tomorrow that will fundamentally change the course of their business forever. Okay, does that make sense so far, that difference right there? I want to make things very clear. I'm a millennial, and I feel like this is worth saying. What I'm saying is not out with the old, in with the new, one type of frame of thinking, this is how it's going to be. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is if and when we see these two people groups, these millennials and these baby boomers come together, we are going to see businesses thrive. Not just survive, not just get along and have another year, but absolutely thrive when we can come together. And I think there are a few solutions. I think first of all, we need to come together and we need to have a conversation around it. And I think that's why I'm really proud to be here. I'm glad that we're taking time to discuss this topic and have fireside chats where we discuss things that are a bit more triggering, if you will. I think it's really, really good. But I did take some time to think about some solutions, okay? Some solutions that we can take towards solving this problem. The first one I think is self-awareness, okay? Someone once said that when you see who you really are, when you see yourself for who you really are, you become free, okay? Someone else said, self-awareness is not looking at your mistakes. Self-awareness is having the courage to look at your mistakes and then learn from them. That's how we grow and get better. Self-awareness is absolutely imperative, and it needs to be had from the baby boomers and the millennials themselves. When I think about the times where I've fallen short of my potential and I did not succeed as much as I would have liked, those were times when I thought I had it all figured out. Those were times when I didn't really take the time to assess who I am. So as a company, because we don't just like to talk about things, we like to practice what we preach and actually do it. What we did is we consulted with our advisors and with some of the more seasoned executives that we have access to. And what they told us is, Bogdan, Matt, Signature, you guys need to make a commitment to becoming self-aware. Don't just talk about it. They said we need to take an assessment. We need to have a tool or a process that we can take that will give us the clarity and self-awareness that we need. So we said, okay, what does that really mean? And a gentleman by the name of Tony DeRico said you need to take this Winslow assessment. Is there anyone here who's taken the Winslow assessment? You've taken an assessment before, you haven't taken the Winslow assessment. I said the same thing to the gentleman, and what he told me is that this is the only assessment that's used in the NHL, the MLB, the NBA, among dozens of other professional organizations in an effort to filter through the talent that they have and make sure that they have them placed in the right area. So the Winslow assessment, and we'd be happy to make introductions and make sure you have one of your own. The Winslow assessment is an objective analysis of your strengths, weaknesses, traits, tendencies, along with a job or career that you're best suited for. It's not a one-page printout. It's literally a 40-page document about you and you only. Okay? So I took an assessment, my business partner took an assessment, and we gave one to every single team member that we had on the team, and instantly, overnight, we gained clarity and confidence about, most importantly, not only where we are, but where we need to be, where people need to be positioned within our organization. Now, it's really easy to think, okay, that's not who I am, that's not what I want to do, or it's really easy to reject the things that, let's say, a business partner or a colleague says about you. But it's hard to do that when there's a 40-plus page printout that is compiled from questions that you answered. And it fundamentally changed our business forever, and I want to make sure that you as business owners or as individuals can leave this room better than you came in because of that clarity and that self-awareness. So after I'm done here, if you want an assessment, I think we can find a way to, because of our connections, to actually give you one for free. And if you'd like one, I'd love for you to come find me or find someone on our team afterwards. The first thing, self-awareness. The second, coachability and teachability. This is one of the biggest ones. This is absolutely one of the biggest ones, and I know that my generation suffered from a lack of that teachability and coachability more than anything. The reason I'm standing up here, and the reason I have dozens of clients, and the reason I don't need to worry or stress is because one day I decided I'm going to make a decision, and I am going to humble myself and recognize I don't have things all figured out, and I need help from other people who are better, faster, stronger, and more experienced than I am. So I did. I made that commitment, and I started becoming a knowledge seeker. I looked to people around me to give me advice because, quite honestly, I'm a millennial. I'm impatient. I don't want to make those mistakes. I would rather learn from your mistakes so that I can get better faster. So I did that, and I've grown, and my life has changed pretty dramatically over just a couple years' time as a result of that. I believe that's one of the biggest keys. Now, this teachability and this self-awareness is something that everyone needs to have. It's easy to point at the millennial and say, you're not coachable, you're not teachable. The reason I'm in business is because there are baby boomers who are also coachable and also teachable. They recognize that me and my team bring a unique perspective that adds value to their business. They recognize that, and that's why I'm in business. They hire us for that perspective. So I think it's something that needs to be reiterated among everybody. You need to remain coachable and teachable no matter what. So what we did was we built a team, the Avengers team, of subject matter experts, if you will, young and old alike, within their specific specialty, who are on site, on staff with our team at Signature, and are ready, willing, and able to support you wherever you are in your business. Whether you're a startup, whether you've been around for 10 to 20 years, or you're looking to retire in just a couple, we can work with you. And trust me, and I'm sure you can see it already, we have the confidence and the enthusiasm to do that. So I'd love to help you, even if you don't have a business. I do believe, at the very least, we can connect you to others, make introductions, and point you in the right direction. So we'd love to connect with you there. That's the second one, coachability and teachability. The last one, and this is why I'm so excited to be here, is that there needs to be an emphasis on community. A community that invests in diversity and doesn't ridicule it. A community that values that unique perspective and sees it as being the superpower to their organization. Okay, so what we did was, we, again, decided not to talk about it, but to actually do it. We built an organization, a community of thought leaders, change makers, aspiring current and ex-entrepreneurs who are all huddled together under one banner, in one room, with one mission. And that's to get better together. We live on Slack, which is one tool we use. We live on Facebook, and we also live in person. We have group events where we'll meet once per month together as a community, challenging different topics, sharing different strategies, and growing together, learning together, and getting better, again, at the end of the day. If you feel like you could value or benefit from a community like this, I don't care if you have a business or you don't. I don't care if you think you need direction or you don't. If you don't have a community that cares for you and wants you to get better and wants the same things that you do, you're gonna fall behind on your potential and your purpose. People say that you're the sum total of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. And I can attest to that. If you want to see your future, you want to see what you're going to look like in 10 years, look at your friends. Look at the people that you hang around with. And again, my life changed when I started hanging out with old people. My life changed when I started hanging out. Everyone wants to hang out with Gary Vee and some of these younger guys. What about the old guys who have 2 to 3 times more experience than you do and who are gladly willing to just give it to you? They're looking for a friend. So we said, okay, let's grab all these people together, get them in one community. It's called the Signature Network, and I'd like for you to be a part of that. Is there anyone here who feels like they could benefit from that network? Anyone? 1, 2, anyone? 3, anyone else? 4, you feel like you could benefit from it? Do you or do you not? You feel like, okay, I want to talk to you at the end of this, and we're going to get you in our network. There are a lot of things that we can do, but it doesn't come, the generational gap that we're seeing is not going to get closed by just talking about it. I can sit here on stage and get a nice suit that I haven't worn in a few too many months and sit up here and talk at people, but I want to work with people. And I think that's the biggest thing. These generational gaps are just holding us back. When people say millennials versus baby boomers, we've already crossed the line because we're thinking this, versus. Why are we saying versus? We're all together, right? So that's what I really want to get away with. Again, it's not an out with the old, in with the, or out with the old, in with the new. This is the future, and I think that we have a capacity to get better if we come together. So in closing, I want to speak to the just 2 or 3 millennials that are in here. I want to say, dude, you have a purpose, you have a destiny, you have an assignment that you need to live out. There's something that you've been placed on this earth to do that no one else can accomplish but you. And there might be times when you think you don't have it all figured out, or you think you're not going to get there, but it is your mission, and you need to be laser-like focused on that mission and that assignment. Okay? It's your destiny. Your future family is counting on you to do that. And when I realized that for me, my life changed, and I grew as a person, what would have taken me 10 to 20 years in like 2. Because I became obsessed with that, okay? And then I want to speak in closing to the baby boomer who might think they're out of touch and there's nothing left. It's over. They're done. You're not. You live in the best era ever to do it. And things can change. Your business and your life can change overnight. So if this is anything, this is a call to action for everyone, millennials, baby boomers, and everyone in between, to come together and recognize the time is now. Separately, we're just one person, okay? We're just one person, but together we're better. Thank you so much.